Hi friends, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sigrid and I make videos about books because I love them. Today I'm going to be doing my monthly unboxing of Book of the Month. If you're unfamiliar with Book of the Month, this is a budget book subscription box where you get a hardcover newly released edition of a book and a generic bookmark. I think the price is $16.99, but I could be wrong, plus tax, and the add-ons are $10.99 for each additional add-ons. Either way, I think this is a really amazing box to get some of the newly released hardcover books at a discount. Also, I will say, like, when it comes to Book of the Month, they are pretty much on it with like knowing what is going to be popular in the book community. There have been so many books that I feel like has been like featured in their monthly like lineup, and then like everyone's going crazy over it on like Book Talk, Bookstagram, and BookTube. So they're pretty good at what they do. So they do all of the hard work with finding the next big thing or the book that you're going to enjoy. They present it to you, you can pick it. So really do like that. They do have a program known as the BFF, which means like if you've been a subscriber for a certain period of time, you get some perks. One of the perks you will see in this video, which is during your birthday month. Mine is June. This is the June unboxing. You get a free add-on. So I have 2 accounts, so I got 2 of those. You also get a free book at the end of the year based on their Book of the Year nominees. So let's just get started with our first box. And might I say, this is the first year that they have rolled out the selections to let you include up to 5 books in one box. So it finally made it to my channel. If you guys have been watching, I have been saying I knew that they were trying it out on certain accounts, and it has finally made it to both of mine. So we're gonna start with, you know what, let's start with a smaller box. We have a bookmark that says, "Respectfully, leave me alone." Facts. Okay, so the first book that I see is She Started It, and this is by Shan Gilbert. The party of a lifetime is nothing like what they expected. Annabelle, Esther, Tanya, and Chloe are best friends, or were as children. They drifted apart in adulthood, but shared secrets have kept them bonded for better or worse, even as their childhood dreams haven't quite turned out as they've hoped. Then one day they received a wholly unexpected invitation from an old friend. Poppy Greer has invited them all to her extravagant bachelorette party. 3 days of white sand, cocktails, and relaxation on a luxe private island in the Bahamas. None of them has spoken to Poppy in years, but Poppy's Instagram pics shows that the girl they used to consider the weakest link in their group has definitely made good and made money. Besides, who can turn down a posh, all expenses paid vacation on a Caribbean island? The first-class flight and the island's accommodations are just as opulent as expected, even if the scenic island proves more remote than they anticipated. Quite remote, in fact, with no cell service and no other guests. The women quickly discovered they've underestimated Poppy and each other. As their darkest secrets are revealed, the tropical adventure morphs into a terrifying nightmare. Endlessly twisty, sharply observant, and deliciously catty, She Started It is sure to shock readers until the very end. That is really cool. I knew when I read that I had to get it. I'm a thriller girly at heart, so I knew I had to get that. It sounds really interesting. Alright, I am also a fantasy girly, so when I saw Book of the Month does not do a lot of fantasy. Like, it's very, I feel like it's a little rare. Like, it's not like it's not very little, but like whenever I do see it, I tend to pick it. So we have Ink, Blood, Sister Scribe, and this is by Emma Torts. In this spellbinding debut novel, 2 estranged half-sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books must work together to unravel a deadly secret at the heart of their collection. A tale of familial loyalty and betrayal in the pursuit of magic and power. For generations, the Calote family has guarded a collection of ancient and rare books, books that let a person walk through walls or manipulate the elements, books of magic that half-sisters Joanna and Esther have been raised to revere and protect. All magic comes with a price though, and for years the sisters have been separated. Esther has fled to a remote base in Antarctica to escape the fate that killed her mother, and Joanna's isolated herself in their family home in Vermont, devoting her life to the study of these cherished volumes. But after their father dies suddenly while reading a book, Joanna has never seen before, the sisters must reunite to preserve their family legacy. In the process, they'll uncover a world of magic far bigger and more dangerous than they ever imagined, and all the secrets their parents kept hiding, secrets that span centuries, continents, and even other libraries. In the great tradition of Ninth House, The Magicians, and Practical Magic, this is a suspenseful and richly atmospheric novel that draws readers into a vast world filled with mystery and magic, romance and intrigue, and marks the debut of an extraordinary new voice in speculative fiction. This sounds really, really good. Like, that's really cool. But also, reading a book, I would... No. Okay, moving on to the big kahuna. The first book that I see is My Murder. This is by Katie Williams. I don't think this is a thriller per se. I think it's technically literary fiction. What if the murder you had to solve was your own? Lou is a happily married mother of an adorable toddler. She's also the victim of a local serial killer. Recently brought back to life and returned to her grieving family by a government project, she is grateful for the second chance. But as the new Lou adapts to her old routine, and as she bonds with other female survivors, she realizes that disturbing questions remains about what exactly preceded her death and how much she can really trust those around her. Now it's not enough to care for her child, love her husband, and do the work she's always enjoyed. She must also figure out the circumstances of her death. Darkly comic, tautly paced, and full of surprises, My Murder is a clever, devour-in-one-sitting twist on the classic thriller. So maybe it is a thriller. I am probably going to read this really soon. I know I say that about every book, but this one is just going to pry at my mind, and I need to know what happened. Okay, next up we have The Whispers by Ashley Aldrin. On Harlow Street, the well-to-do neighborhood couples and their children gather for a barbecue as the summer winds down. Everything is fabulous until Whitney, the picture-perfect hostess, explodes in fury because her son disobeys her. Everyone at the party hears her exquisite veneer crack loud and clear. Before long, the same young boy falls from his bedside window in the middle of the night, and then his mother can only sit by her son's hospital bed where his life hangs in the balance. Over the course of a tense 3 days, the women of the neighborhood grapple with what led to that terrible night. People-pleasing Blair, Whitney's best friend, suspects something isn't as it seems. Rebecca, the ER doctor who helps treat Whitney's son, has struggled to have a child of her own. And the all-knowing Mara, the older woman next door, watches everyone's world unravel from her front porch. Exploring envy, women's friendship, desire, and the intuitions that we silence, The Whispers is a chilling novel that marks Ashley Aldrin as a major fiction talent. This is also really, really interesting too. I love like a family, domestic kind of thing where it's like mothers, children kind of thriller. Love those. Okay, so the next one we have is The Wishing Game, and this is by Meg Schaefer. Years ago, a reclusive mega best-selling author quit writing under mysterious circumstances. Suddenly, he resurfaces with a brand new book and a one-of-a-kind competition offering a prize that will change the winner's life. Make a wish. Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, Lucy found her solace in books, namely the Clock Island series by Jack Masterson. Now, a 26-year-old teacher's aide, Lucy is able to share her love of reading with bright young students, especially 7-year-old orphan Christopher Lamb. Lucy will give anything to adopt Christopher, but even the idea of becoming a family seems like an impossible dream without proper funds and stability. Just when Lucy is about to give up, Jack Masterson announces he's finally written a new book. Even better, he's holding a contest at his home on the real Clock Island, and Lucy is one of the 4 lucky contestants chosen to compete to win the one and only copy. But what are the odds? Like, his #1 fan is... okay. For Lucy, the chance of winning the most sought-after book in the world means everything to her and Christopher. But first, she must contend with ruthless book collectors, wily opponents, and the distractingly handsome and grumpy Hugo Reese, the illustrator of the Clock Island books. Meanwhile, Jack the Mastermind Masterson is plotting the ultimate twist ending that could change all of their lives forever. It's given he brought them all there to kill them. Like, it's just given, like, I'm a serial killer and I'm going out with a bang. Like, that is what it's giving to me. But this is really, it reminds me like Saw. I just can feel it. Like, maybe he picked them for specific reasons. I want to read this now. Like, I'm excited. Okay, so another book that I got. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is one that has been on my wish list for a while, and I decided that I wanted this to be my free book. This is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and so I was like, this is gonna be my freebie. After a wild bet, gourmet Creole cheese sandwich, and cuddle with a baby goat, Alexis Montgomery has had her world turned upside down. The cause? Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her and as casual as they come. The complete opposite of sophisticated city girl Alexis. Somebody gotta tell Abby city girl means something completely different. It is definitely not sophisticated. It's more like city girl. But she did put a hyphen between it, so maybe it's like city girl. I don't know. And yet their chemistry is undeniable. While her ultra-wealthy parents want her to carry on the family legacy of world-renowned surgeons, Alexis doesn't need glory or fame. She's fine with being a mere ER doctor, and every minute she spends with Daniel in the tight-knit town where he lives, she's discovering just what's really important. Yet letting their relationship become anything more than a short-term fling would mean turning her back on her family and giving up the opportunity to help thousands of people. Bringing Daniel into her world is impossible, and yet she can't just give up the joy she's found with him either. With so many differences between them, how can Alexis possibly choose between her world and his? I don't know if like I remember correctly, but someone said that this is like a Little Mermaid, like a retelling or reimagining, and so that's why I got it, because I recently saw the newest The Little Mermaid, and it just brought back so many like memories, and I'm just like, I want to read some retellings now of that story. So, and the final book that I got was Someone Else's Shoes by Jojo Moyes. This was actually one of the picks that I wanted to get in a previous box, but I had gotten like too many books and I couldn't add on anything else. But this one actually sounded really interesting to me. Who are you when you are forced to walk in someone else's shoes? Nisha Cantor and Sam Kemp are two very different women. Nisha lived the globe-trotting life of the seriously wealthy, and to her husband inexplicably announced he wanted a divorce and cut her off completely. Nisha is glamorous, fearless, and determined to hang on to the life she has created for herself. But in the meantime, she must scramble to adjust to an entirely new landscape. She doesn't even have the shoes she was, until a moment ago, standing in. That's because Sam, at the bleakest point of her life, has accidentally taken Nisha's gym bag. But Sam hardly has time to worry about something as petty as a lost bag. She's struggling to keep herself, her out-of-work husband, and her sarcastic teenager daughter afloat. Or is it petty? When she tries on Nisha's 6-inch high Christian Louboutin red crocodile shoes for a series of important meetings, the unexpected results gives her a jolt of confidence that makes her realize something must change, and that thing is herself. When the two women finally meet, they will discover that each needs the other to put right the wrongs that have been done to them and to the woman around them, from Nisha's enterprising colleague Jasmine to Sam's steadfast best friend Andrea. Full of Jojo Moyes' signature humor, brilliant storytelling, and warmth, Someone Else's Shoes is a moving, heartfelt story about how, for any of us, just one little thing can suddenly change everything. It sounds really interesting. And finally, we got another bookmark that says, respectfully, leave me alone. Hi friends, Sigrid here, and my July Book of the Month books have finally arrived, and I wanted to just go ahead and unbox them for you guys, and then just kind of merge the two videos together since I haven't uploaded the June one just yet. So let's get started. I have one box that is really small, so let's get this one out of the way. So we have a bookmark that says I'm in my villain era, and the book I selected for this one is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I know that this is going to be a duplicate book now. I did not know when I ordered it, but I think Fairy Loot is also doing this for their adult box, and I think I just received that today actually. So I will be filming my Battle of the Book boxes relatively soon, so just keep in mind that it's probably going to be the most amount of boxes that I have done since I started my channel, because I am just so far behind. I know I have a ton of them to get through, so expect for those videos to be really lengthy, but I'm gonna have a ton of boxes to show you guys, so I'm excited. Okay, so Immortal Longings. Every year, thousands in the kingdom of Talon would flock to its capital twin cities, Sanner, where the palace hosts a set of games. For those confident enough in their abilities to jump between bodies, there is a fight to the death across Sanner for a chance to win unimaginable riches. Princess Kala Tualimi lurks in hiding. 5 years ago, a massacre left her parents dead and the palace of empty, and she was the one who did it. Wait, what? Before her uncle King Kasa and his forces in San can catch her, she plans to finish the job and bring down the monarchy. The king always greets the victor of the games, so if she wins, she gets the opportunity to kill him at last. Enter Antoine Makusa, an exile aristocrat. His childhood love has lain in a coma since they were both ousted from the palace, and he's deep in debt trying to keep her alive. Thankfully, he's one of the best jumpers in this kingdom, flitting from body to body at will. His last chance at saving her is entering the games and winning. Kala finds both an unexpected alliance with Anton and help from King Kasa's adopted son, August Shinhai, who wants to mend Talon's ills. But the three of them have very different goals, even as Kala and Antoine's partnership spirals into something all-consuming. Before the games close, Kala must decide what she's playing for, her lover or her kingdom. This actually sounds really good. You know, I haven't read anything from Chloe Gong just yet, but for some reason I just keep getting her books. I think it's because they're always in a fantasy box for some reason. And if I don't get it, I tend to get them from Book of the Month. So I just have all her books, I think. This one seems like something I want to read, and I think what I want to do is I want to do a vlog reading books about like a competition. So it would be this one, All of Us Villains, because I know that is also about a competition, but there's also another one that I really want to read. So I would just kind of look through, because I know there are a few fantasy books that have that trend going on, and I just kind of want to read them all together and maybe rank them. It just, I don't know, I think that would be a really fun idea. Okay, so that was everything in that first box. Let's get on to the bigger box. We have another bookmark. Then we have a fantasy book. This one is a Warrior Girl Unearthed, and this is by Angeline Boley. Mary Firekeeper Birch has always known who she is. The laid-back twin, the troublemaker, the best fisher on Sugar Island. Her aspirations won't even take her far from home, and she wouldn't have it any other way. But as the already striking number of missing Indigenous women continue to rise, as her family becomes embroiled in a high-profile murder investigation, and as greedy grave robbers seek to profit off what belongs to her Anishinaabe tribe, Perry begins to question everything. In order to reclaim this inheritance for her people, Perry has no choice but to take matters into her own hand. She can only count on her friends and allies, including her overachieving twin and a charming new boy in town with unwavering morals. Old rivalries, sister secrets, and botched heists will not stop her from uncovering the mystery before the ancestors and missing women are lost forever. Oh, okay, she wrote The Firekeeper's Daughter. Okay, I also have that book. I got this book mainly because the plot did seem interesting as well, but I also do want to support BIPOC authors, and so I definitely had to get this one, but it does sound really, really interesting and fun. Next up, we have Dark Corners by Megan Goldwyn. This author also wrote The Night Swim, which was a 5-star read for me, so it was a no-brainer for me to get this one. Terrence Bailey is about to be released from prison for breaking and entering, though investigators have long suspected him in the murders of 6 women. As his release date approaches, Bailey gets a surprise visit from Madison Logan, a hot young influencer with a huge social media following. Hours later, Madison disappears and police suspect she's been kidnapped or worse. Is Madison's disappearance connected to her visit to Bailey? And why was she visiting him in the first place? When it hit a wall in the investigation, the FBI reluctantly asked for Rachel Crowell's help in finding the missing influencer. Madison seemed to exist only on social media. She has no family or friends, and other than in her posts, most people have never seen her. Who is she really? Using a fake Instagram account, Rachel goes undercover to BuzzCon, a popular influencer conference where she discovers a world of fierce rivalry that may have turned lethal. When police find the body of a woman with a tattoo of a snake eating its tail, identical to a tattoo Rachel had seen on Bailey's hand, the FBI must consider a chilling possibility. Bailey has an accomplished on the outside and a dangerous obsession with influencers, including Rachel Crawl herself. Suddenly the target of a monster hiding in plain sight, Rachel is forced to confront the very real dangers that lurk in the dark corners of the internet. Oh, that's why it's called Dark Corners. This sounds really, really good. This sounds so good. Like, I really want to read this right now. And I know I say that in like every video, but like this one right here, you guys will see it on my Goodreads pretty soon of me reading this. And finally, we have Hello Stranger by Catherine Sinner. I actually haven't read anything by Catherine Sinner, so I'm excited. Love Isn't Blind is just a little blurry. Sadie Montgomery never saw what was coming. Literally, 1 minute she's celebrating the biggest achievement of her life, placing as a finalist in a North American Portrait Society competition. The next, she's lying in a hospital bed, diagnosed with a probably temporary condition known as face blindness. She can see, but every face she looks at is now a jumbled puzzle of disconnected features. Imagine trying to read a book upside down and in another language. This is Sadie's new reality with every face she sees. But as she struggles to cope, hang on to her autistic dream, work through major family issues, and take care of her beloved dog, Peanut, she falls in love, lust, a temporary obsession to distract from the real problems in her life. With not one, but two very different men, the timing couldn't be worse. If only her life were a little more in focus, Sadie might be able to find her way. But perceiving anything clearly right now seems impossible, even though there are things we can only find when we aren't looking. And there are people who show up when we least expect them. And there are always other ways of seeing. Oh, that's cute. Wow, you know what? I feel like her biggest problem is going to be like how she's going to remember which conversation she had with whom. Well, I mean, I guess she can just go by their names, but I don't know, girl. That is a good dilemma to have. I'm excited to read that. That sounds really interesting. Like, it just sounds messy, and I love messy in romances. So, okay, so that was everything I had for the month of July. I hope you guys liked this unboxing. If you did, please consider clicking that like button. And if you want to see more content from me, please consider hitting the subscribe button to be notified whenever I post a video. But yeah, that is everything that I have for today. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.